It seems to me that that peace could be more profitable than war, but that it will take more hard work. Which is to say, war is easy money. Human beings, that is to say, have always profited from war. There's always been, whether it's controlling the oil or controlling the salt or controlling the roads and the highways,
or people,
or controlling people. Thankfully, we're living in today. One of the good things about today's world is that we have very little slavery left in the world, so that's good. We're making progress.
Yeah,
very little relative to to 1,000 or 2,000 years ago,
or 100 years ago,
or but relatively little slavery. But whatever it is, war has always been the answer, and we know how to do it. We're really good at it. We're really good at raising armies, producing weapons, getting the whole home front on board, and pitched in and tying a yellow ribbon around your, I wanted to say something, but it's inappropriate.
Well, I think, okay. Say it, who cares?
But and I think that peace will take a lot more hard work. I think that's obvious. I'm not the first one to notice that peace is really hard work, but I do feel that it can be even more profitable. But at a certain point, you've got these dictators, you've got these tycoons, you've got these corrupt politicians, and they know how to do war. They don't know how to do peace because they've never done it, so it's scary to them. Let's just keep doing war, and we'll keep making our billions, and so we won't hit the trillions, but we'll hit the billions.
I think you're giving them a huge benefit of the doubt. I think it's, I guess, I don't know. I obviously, growing up in America, I know more about that culture than I do about here, but it's when you have a capitalistic society and fear drives consumption, that's what they lead with. I mean, I don't even know if it's what they're more comfortable with. I think they just don't care. For them, that's what makes the most money. And when you have, and whether it's a fear of like, oh, I have to get the right pair of shoes because I'm afraid that this, or on a bigger level of like, I'm afraid that terrorists are going to attack, so I have to buy this and I have to consume this.
I think you have a few glaring examples, though, of exceptions to that rule. One of my favorite classic examples being the legalization of marijuana. If the profit motive is really the dominant driving force in the States, let's take just the States for a moment, then why is marijuana still illegal?
Yeah,
there are literally tens of billions of dollars to be made every year
trillions.
In the U.S.
They showed it was like if marijuana was legal within 20 years, the United States would be out of debt or something like that.
Absolutely, you can mathematically prove it, and that's only on the users, the people that freely admit their use. You've got, I think, a large percentage of white-collar professions and things like that where people aren't willing to even discuss, when they respond to polls or surveys or things like that they're not necessarily, so the actual numbers are probably even significantly higher, 10, 20, 30% higher than the surveys and the estimates. But so, just one classic glaring example of an exception to the rule of, well, if profit is really all that matters and they don't, to hell with the means, then why is marijuana still not legalized? And it's getting there, and I personally believe in the next 10, 15 years it's going to be legalized on a federal level in the United States. But fact of the matter that it's taken this long.
Yeah. I mean, I totally see what you're saying, but I feel like that's on a different level than the, like Halliburton or the companies that these like warmongers, and the oil industry is a much larger industry than the marijuana industry ever would be.
Well,
so
trillions of dollars is a pretty big industry.
Yeah, right. But I mean, the oil industry, I mean, I don't know. I'm talking obviously from the perspective of an American in the United States, but they consider oil to be the future of, not pot, not marijuana, would never sustain the way of life, whereas like oil is the future of the whatever sustainability.
Ironically, I see it the exact opposite way. I see oil as the past in every sense of the word.
I totally do too.
And whereas cannabis, you actually can produce oil, you can produce fuel from it, you can produce cloth from it. It's not just smoking pot.
Yeah.
It's you can make clothing, you can make soaps and shampoos and rope and all kinds of stuff that really human beings have been making for thousands of years using cannabis. It's only in the last 100 years that it became an issue to begin with.